Welcome to Home Biz Tax Talk. My name is Lysandra Everett. I am the Home Biz Tax Lady, where I help home business owners win the tax game. Home Biz Tax Talk airs Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish. And when you tune into my show, you're going to hear about topics that are important to the home business community. So, there will be a series of videos that are like this that are not really tax related. This is more of a life lesson stuff, okay? At the time of this recording, I just buried my mom. My siblings and I just buried my mom July 12th. But I wanted to come and share with you some of the lessons that I've learned throughout this process that I really hope will spark conversation in your families so that you can really be prepared. Because the last thing that you want to do is be trying to do this stuff and dealing with the grief and loss, during that lost time, because the fact is that we are all going to leave this earth at some point. And the best thing that we can do for our families is to be prepared. And so, so whether you are the child that may be dealing with the parents, stuff, like I'm the oldest, so I'm the one that's dealing with the administrative stuff and everything that's, with my mom. Or you might be the parent that, hey, I've got kids and I've got to really make sure I have this plan together. So wherever you are in this, it is definitely going to be for you because, again, we all got to leave this earth. And the best thing that we can do for our families is to have a plan. And so today I want to talk about wills. Like, how do wills actually work? Like, what is really involved here? Because you hear all the time, make sure you have a will, make sure you have a will. Okay, yeah, that's great. But it's the administrative part of the will that gets a little hinky, okay? So first of all, what exactly is a will? A will is really a written document that says, this is how I want things to happen with my assets when I'm gone. It's your plan from the grave that says this is what I want to happen. Now, with that will, and you really want to have a professionally done will, something that, has been notarized by attorneys. Don't be doing like Aretha Franklin, writing your will on a piece of notebook paper and sticking it in the couch. That is unacceptable, you guys. We really have to be more diligent about what we do. So have a formal will drawn up, have it notarized, attorneys and all that, okay? All right, so first of all, once your loved one passes, that will needs to be filed in the county where where your loved one lives, okay? So you actually have to do that. Now, there's different, sometimes there's a charge, sometimes there isn't, but be prepared to pay to file the will, okay? So now, and then every state has, has some sort of probate. Okay. And, there are some states where the estate, that is the value of your loved one's possessions, assets and stuff. There is, sometimes there's a minimum, like if it's below this threshold, we're not even going through probate. You just go and do what you do. But, over that threshold, then there's probate. And then there are some states where you got to go through probate no matter what you got going on. Okay. There's no minimum. There's no maximum. Everybody goes through probate. So every state is different. So you have to check that. Now, so with the probate is really when you're going through the actual process of managing the final affairs of the estate. Okay. So now with the will, first you have an executor. Now, the executor is the person that is supposed to carry out the wishes in the will. And it's usually a third party that's disinterested, that's basically got nothing in this, that's saying, okay, we're going to carry out this will the way it is written. So just in case you've got some squabbling siblings, you got people that are coming out the woodwork saying, oh, this person wanted me to have this person wanted me to have that. This is what the executor is for. The executor is a disinterested party that is acting as the personal representative of the deceased. Now, where it gets a little funky is if the executor doesn't want to. Okay. And so this is why it's important to keep your will updated, because a will that was written 20 years ago really may not be what needs to be currently done. Because like I said, you may have an executor that is no longer willing or able to serve as the executor. And then, you might not be able to find said executor, okay? And I will tell you in complete transparency, this is what is happening with my family right now. The first named executor doesn't want to and really isn't able to. And then the second person that's named as the executor, we can't find dude. This is somebody I have not seen since I was 20 years old. Okay. So what happens is now that, the executor has to go through and basically fill out this form that says, I don't want to. Then we have to show, I think it's called like a diligence of search or something like that, that basically says that we put forth the effort to find executor number 2. Once that is done, once that is processed, I don't know how long that takes, then the probate court has to then go through and name another executor. Again, I don't know how long that takes because I'm still in this process. All right. So this is why you don't want to have a will that has never been updated. This is, a will is not something that you set and forget. This is something that you need to update, basically as things happen, as things change. But, I don't know what the rule of thumb is, but every like 5 years at least, because one of the jobs of the executor is to do what's called an inventory of assets. That's where it's the executor's job to go through and say, okay, Lysandra had, this house, she had some stocks, she had this, she had that, and list those assets. So one of the things that you can do is to help your executor out and list your assets as you acquire them. Okay. Now, before I forget, in the description of this video, my good friend Delshawn Renee Hayes has a family emergency financial toolkit or something, whatever. It's a toolkit that, it goes through and lists all the important documents that you need for your family. So definitely go and get that. If you don't have a plan, that checklist is a great place to start. Okay. Now, so your executor has to list, give that inventory of assets so we can dispose of these assets based on the wishes of the deceased. And so, this is why you want to keep your will updated, because as your assets increase or decrease, this is what's going to help your executor to be able to do their job better. Okay. And so that's really this is administratively intense. And also with the executor is the one that has the job of making sure the final tax return is prepared, as well as making sure the estate return is prepared. Now, as a tax person, you can imagine I kind of gave that the side eye, like somebody else is going to do my mama's taxes, like for real. But, whatever. But that's the job of the executor. And so this is why that's not a decision that you want to take lightly. This is also why it's something that you want to keep updated, because like I said, if you've got somebody that is no longer willing or is unable to do those things, then there's an additional administrative step that has to happen to replace that person. And that just drags things out the way longer than what it needs to be. So if you have a will and you haven't updated it lately, go take a look at it. Go look and see, okay, is this still the person that I want to be my personal representative that's going to make decisions for me and for my assets after I'm gone? Now, the other thing that I thought was kind of hilarious that was in my mom's will, I mean, I understand why it's there, but it was just kind of funny. And because she has the last clause in her will that says, if you were not named in this will, it was intentional. It was not an accident. And the reason she put that there is because she didn't want other family members coming in saying, okay, well, she wanted me to have this and she wanted me to have that, when my mama ain't said nothing of the sort. So I don't know exactly if that line actually does anything, but I really just kind of thought that was funny, to be really honest with you. So So that's really the administration of a will. That is more of the labor intensive part after you're gone. So the more work that you can do on the front end to make sure that the people you have asked to serve previously are still willing to do that, and and have proper contact information for people, so that if you do name someone else as the executive, your family then knows how to contact folks, or the courts know how to contact folks. Because otherwise, you're going to, if your executor is John Smith, I mean, how many John Smiths are there in the world, right? So you want to make sure that you have the proper contact information to keep those things updated, so that your family then knows who to contact, the courts know who to contact, so that we can move that administrative process along. And the final thing I will say about this, the other thing that I learned about wills, like if you file a will and it's going through probate, then any claims against the estate, at least in the state of Georgia, they have 4 months to file a claim against the estate. Where if you don't, then they have up to a year. So whoever feels that they have, whether it's some kind of property or a bill owed, like gas and electric or whatever, when you file the will, there's 4 months to file a claim against the estate. But if you don't, then companies have up to a year to file a claim against the estate. So, you definitely want to do that, but you definitely want to make sure that you check the laws of your state. Get an estate attorney, a probate attorney that knows these things and knows how to handle them. If you don't, okay, I believe in investing that money to help you move things along to the best of the ability, so that you can dispose of things and not really have to wind up wasting money paying for things that that you don't have time for that. Like, for lack of a better term, you just don't have time for that. So yeah, the takeaways: have a will, keep it updated. Make sure that you have the proper contact information for, the executor or the co-executor or whatever. Make sure all of that is in a safe place, so that folks can be contacted in the event, of your passing. Because you don't want your family to have to go through all of this stuff. Like, this is an administrative nightmare for me right now. So, even though we try to do things to make sure all the loose ends are tied up, I guarantee you there's going to be some loose end that's left out there that's going to cause all kinds of problems. So do that for your family. And grab that toolkit from my good friend Delshawn, because that's going to really help bring some structure to you. And again, especially for my business owners, what's going to happen to your business? What is the succession of your business when you pass? Who is going to take over your business? And in the case of spouses, that's generally pretty easy. But if you are the last remaining spouse and you have a business, who's going to run your business? Is the business going to be sold? Right? Like, what's going to happen? So you have to have a plan to dispose of your business, or to pass it on, or however you're going to do it in the event that you pass. This is why you definitely need to, have attorneys on your team that can help you do these types of things and help you have a plan that's going to work. Do you need to set up a trust? How does that, all of that work? That's why you need attorneys. You don't need LegalZoom and all that stuff. You need to talk to people that understand the laws of your state, so that you don't put your family in an administrative nightmare. Okay? So thank you guys so much for tuning into Home Biz Tax Talk. Again, we air Monday through Friday, 9 o'clock-ish, and you can come right here to get your questions answered about your home business taxes. All right, have a great day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.